don't want to do it. I've been trying to avoid it. No, I just need to do it. The more you wait, the more it doesn't help. I just don't want to talk about it. I know. That's not the operative problem here, Donnie. Okay. Okay. Let's talk about the final round of the individual. So going in, I did both rounds of the team class. I didn't do the first round of the individual, but we were clear, and I made a mistake there where I kind of overcompensated and a line and ended up adding, but it ended up okay, and we were clear. So we were, of the week, we were triple clear going into the final round. Okay, so we walked the course, and it was huge. The first fence, which is normally the smallest fence, was 162, the vertical, and it was only up from there. Back in the day, people say we jump bigger fences, and that's absolutely correct, because right now our cap is 165. Back in the day, you could set huge verticals, really big wide oxes, but what's different nowadays, and this course was a great example of, was the extreme technicality and carefulness that we jump now in our era. That is not to say that we're better, worse, medium than the eras before us. Absolutely not. It's just our era is different, so that's the difference. But the technicality and the size of that course was serious. And it should be. It's the final round of the Olympic Games. 75 started the first individual the day before. Top 30 went to the final. So that's a serious cut. Best horse rider combinations in the world. And when I walked the course, it was extremely technical, extremely careful. It was hard. It was so many connected lines where it was long and then short, short and then long. It was, it tested every part of what we do. But after 3 clear rounds, coming in, I was confident. I was very confident. Karl had never felt better. I've never had better rideability with her. I'd never understood her more. And so I although it was an enormous course, I came in, yeah, let's do it. So let's go over the course. That said, let's go over the course. So you had vertical going away from the in-gate to start. Nice big canter because you're starting at 162 on a vertical. Then you have a tight rollback fence 3, a little bit flat 6 from fence 2 to fence 3, 6 strides, vertical fence 3, and then I chose a little bit inside track in 7 to fence 4. But I had to get that right because if I was too flat in the 7, that would make the 5 after too short. And that was a problem because of the combination, fence 6AB. And 6B came down a lot, the back rail. So I had to get the 7 right to fence 4. So it was a little bit sitting up, fine, but fence 4 was so wide. It was 1.80 m, 85 wide already. It was so wide. Landed well, got the 5 right, curled over 5A, 5A. And then I had to push going out. But Karl is so good in the combinations that although so many horses were sitting down early, or 5B having that back rail, or stretching, double pumping, it was a hard B to come out of because of how wide B was. It was shoved into the corner, jumping right at one of the big jumbotrons, but Karol was great. Then it was a pretty quick 180-degree rollback to the water. It was an interesting water the way they did it because, the block on takeoff was see-through. You could see the water underneath it. So it's kind of hard on approach to get your distance right. I didn't get it 100% right. I was about 75% the way there. Thankfully, we jumped the water clear and it was fine. But some people had problems at that water because it was not solid. Something for you to run at. It was harder to see. And then the 6 after that, some people did 7, but the 6 got flat for some people. And that was hard because of the 165 skinny Paris Eiffel Tower, tiny rail on top plank. But we, with a big stride, 6, no problem. Then after that, the 5 a little bit flat to the oxer. Roll back around to the wall. The wall was huge, 165, really tight turn out of it. It was just huge. But all fine. You had to get the 7 right to the triple combination after the quick turn to the wall, so you couldn't land too deep from the wall, or else you'd be too long to the triple combination and you muck up the triple combination. So you really had to get the wall right, land right, do the right curve, and you had to micro adjust to get that approach to the triple combination right. And triple combination was hard. It was oxer, oxer, vertical, one stride, one stride. So it was a scope test. And you really had to hit it right. And then if you got the scope test right, A to B, but you didn't take into account C, then you were muffed. Good word. Then after C, you had to get the 6 right to another 165, really careful plank, going straight at Versailles. Gorgeous view for people, but for us, we're only looking at the fence. And that was really careful. That came down a lot as well. But Karol was amazing. The way she jumped that fence after the triple was just unbelievable. And at that moment, I was feeling confident because this is, probably the hardest course I've ever jumped. And Karol was flying. She, we had a light rub on fence 3 and a light rub on fence 4. But after that, we got dialed in and she was just flying. And I had such confidence in her. I could feel like if I was right, if I was accurate enough, within 80%, she was clear. Over the biggest course I've ever jumped. But then after that plank, after the triple combination, from fence 11 to fence 12 AB, it was a really awkward angle to a triple bar 2 strides vertical combination. And I'm coming around after fence 11, heading to fence 12A, and I see what I think is the right distance. I commit to the turn. It looks good, and then the distance starts to get a bit long. So I follow a little bit, and it gets a little bit longer, and then I realize it's going to be too long, or I feel it's going to be too long. So I pull the e-brake, I add it really fast. That makes us get too close, and she has to scramble. And she has the back rail of the triple bar. We do 2 strides. She has the vertical as well. We jump fence 13, 14, 15, finish off the course clear. But we had 12A and B down. It was my mistake on the approach. I should have done the one more by adjusting the track. I committed too early, and I should have just waited, quarter second longer. It's a hard one because, I was the alternate going in. So I wasn't supposed to show. I get the opportunity to show in the team class, and Karol knocks it out of the park. Double clear. We go into the individual. She jumps the first round of the individual, clear. I'm having the best week I could have. Better than I ever could have imagined. And then, I'm 3/4 the way around the individual final, and I have a horse who is flying. She is clear. She knows what she's doing. She's locked in. She's strong. She's sound. She's powerful. She's careful. Everything is there. And I made a mistake. And why it hurts is because, you know, it's hard to avoid that I let her down. You know, horses like her, like Kalenka, they're impossible to find. Somehow I have 2 of them. But I would say on that day, Karl was the best horse in that class. The way she was jumping, how good she was feeling. I don't care that I had 2 rails and someone else won the gold. And, you know, Checker jumped great. But Karl was the best horse that day. And I made a mistake. I let her down. I let the whole team down. And what's hard is, obviously it's my mistake. But like, you know, you work so hard and to hope to be close to a position like that. And then you're gifted an opportunity to show. Do well in the team and you keep going and you're there. You're finally there. And, you know, it would have been rough if it was just a light rail, you know, shoot, you know, had a rail. But it wasn't. You know, it was a clear mistake. That's really hard. And I know, you know, people say, you know, look at what you accomplished. You know, you got a silver medal. You jumped double clear for your team. None of the other team members jumped double clear in the team class. You weren't supposed to show and you stepped up. You did your job, all that stuff. I get it. Yeah. But also, like, I agree, but I didn't complete the job. You know, with a horse who, you know, she knew it was her time. It was her moment. And, I messed that up.